2020 pretty much sucked. I don't have to tell you that though. You lived through it. So much has happened over the last decade, but that's a video for another day, because in this video, we're going to look to the future. If things continue to change at the rate that they have been, we could be in for a wild ride. So we're going to take a look at a few events and changes in particular that are likely to take place in the 2020s. From historic political changes to technological revolutions and iconic people that aren't likely to live another 10 years. So for all this and more, stay tuned here at Wonderlane. What are you looking forward to or dreading in the next 10 years? This is your chance to predict the future, so be sure to connect with us in the comments. Starting off, we've got a wild milestone that will be reached in the next decade. According to some very recent United Nations data, planet Earth's population is expected to pass the 8 billion mark as early as 2023. The UN experts assume that the current world population of around 7.75 billion people will grow by an average of 78 million people per year over the next few years. At this same growth rate, the world's population would reach the 10 billion mark as early as 2060. That's a lot of people. Of course, the population is not expected to grow at the same rate everywhere, and that's why experts also expect India to overtake China as the world's most populous country by 2027. Moving on to an undertaking that is more reminiscent of science fiction than reality. Word on the street is that Elon Musk plans to colonize Mars. The entrepreneur behind the space travel company SpaceX has the vision of turning mankind into an interplanetary species and thus enabling humans to live on Mars. For this very ambitious goal, he and his engineers already have developed a Starship and Super Heavy rockets, which can not only transport up to 100 people, but are also reusable as they can land without being damaged. Musk and SpaceX's first checkpoint for this is 2 unmanned Mars flights in 2022. Just 2 years later, in 2024, Musk wants to pass a truly historic milestone: 2 manned flights to Mars. The fuel for these flights is to be methane and liquid oxygen, since these components can be produced on Mars. Of course, the Mars missions are still in the planning stage, and whether these plans will be realized in the next 4 years is up for debate. Don't ever bet against my guy Elon though. The innovative spirit of Musk and his team suggests that we really could see the first attempt at a manned Mars mission in the next decade. Now let's move on to another technological innovation that is expected to have a major impact on this next decade. And this project was born in Silicon Valley as well. Just a few weeks ago, reports on a fascinating plan from Apple surfaced. Apple plans to replace the iPhone and maybe even smartphones in general in the next 10 years. According to Apple's internal concepts, augmented reality glasses will take the place of smartphones. These will be able to project virtual content into a person's field of vision. The rumors state that a first model could be released as early as 2023, which will look like a pair of standard sunglasses. And Apple is not the only company trying to replace the smartphone with AR glasses. Other tech giants like Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Facebook are also currently investing a ton of money and work into the development of cost-efficient and compact smart glasses. So it's pretty safe to assume that in the not too distant future, we will go from having the world in our pockets to having the world on the bridge of our noses. Another big change coming in the next decade pertains to soccer. However, the main changes in the world's most popular sport are not to the game itself, but to the economics that surround it. In 2019, for example, FC Barcelona became the first soccer club to break the 1 billion annual revenue mark. With a current record transfer total of 222 million euros, it's also very likely that the record transfer total will exceed 1 billion by the next decade, assuming that transfer totals continue to rise exponentially. It's also not unrealistic to think that there will be a first footballer to become a billionaire through soccer. Both Lionel Messi and Cristiano Ronaldo are now worth $500 million, and the market continues to explode and will probably break many more records in the coming years. Now let's move on and look at some careers that will probably end in the next decade. 2024 will be the last year in office for current Russian President Vladimir Putin, who has already announced that he will step down. After all, he will have held the office of president in Russia for more than 20 years. Likewise, director Quentin Tarantino announced that his next feature film will in all likelihood be his last, as he has resolved to limit his filmography to 10 feature films. Another head of state will most likely be leaving office in the 2020s. Or I guess in this case, the throne. We will most likely be saying a sad goodbye to Her Majesty Queen Elizabeth II. There are several reasons for this. For one, the Queen is very much advanced in years. On top of that, several British media outlets have reported that the Queen seems to be planning her retirement. Thus, Elizabeth is said to be currently fine-tuning her abdications and plans to transfer her royal duties to her son, Prince Charles, in 2021, on her 95th birthday. Apart from that, of course, it's also extremely likely that the Queen will pass away in the next decade, as she will turn 95 this April. Now let's look at yet another technological revolution that has already taken place: autonomous driving. In recent years, the first series produced models with autopilot functions have been launched into the market by electric vehicle manufacturer Tesla. In the 2020s, however, the scope of autonomous driving will expand. One innovation will be self-driving cabs, and we could also see self-driving trucks, which in the long term will replace the jobs of truckers and taxi drivers. There are also several automakers currently working on models for self-driving cars that don't require a steering wheel at all. Whether such models will be on our roads in the next 10 years remains a mystery, but it's certain that the autonomous driving revolution has only just begun. Last but not least, let's look at some medical innovations, because it's not only our mobility that will be changed by progress. One medical innovation in the works is an intestinal probe in the form of a pill. This would allow colonoscopies to be performed via swallowing a simple pill. Another medical development that could revolutionize healthcare in the future is personalized cancer vaccines. According to estimates by Bill Gates, this market could grow to around $100 billion by 2024. So medicine will continue to advance in exciting ways over the next 10 years. And that's going to do it for our video on some of the wonders that lie in wait as we look out onto the horizon of a new decade. The bow's been tied on the 2010s for a while now. Looking back, we can reflect on a decade that brought us social media like Instagram and Facebook, things that have altered the course of human history and the daily lives of most humans. Same-sex marriage was legalized, Donald Trump was president. What a whirlwind, am I right, guys? Let's run it back. Give me another 10. Hold the global pandemic, please. Don't forget to make your bold prediction in the comments. I'll make mine right now. I predict that by 2029, Applebee's will have monopolized the restaurant industry, but it will double as a brothel and they will only serve cocaine. Like and subscribe to Wonderlane.